Hey guys, so this is a new series that I'm trying out, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys get something good out of it. P.S. just to start with, like the earrings? Yeah, they're the ones that were brand new, still in the package from the bins this last weekend, I think it was. Alright, so we have something we're going to talk about, the 5 W's. And this is what I've come up with to teach you all how to dumpster dive. 5 W's. Okay. So the W for today is where. Where are you going to dumpster dive? Well, that's definitely an important first question. Now, as you do this for a while and you get comfortable and you start expanding into other things, then, you know, there are just endless, you know, locations, depending on where you live. But at least where I live and in my experience, there are endless locations where you can get all kinds of fabulous things in the dumpsters. So the first W, where? Where are you going to start? Do you want to start with retail? That's very popular. A lot of people do it, but there are important considerations. Okay, it is actually well, at least everywhere that I know of, it's illegal to dumpster dive in retail locations. Now, are you always going to get in trouble? No. Will you have some run-ins? Most likely. But I think if you do it enough, you'll start getting comfortable. You'll know when is the right time to go. You might make a connection with, you know, a store manager or something who just kind of, you know, doesn't see anything, doesn't hear anything, whatever. I hate that it's illegal. I understand there are reasons for it, but it really bothers me. It really does. Anyway, generally, at least in the past couple of years, I just haven't bothered much with retail because I haven't needed to. My summers have been jam-packed, as you all know, with just keeping up with public schools and parks and churches. So I haven't really been doing much with the retail in a while. I most likely will during the winter, however. So, so where? If you're not going to do retail, if you're not comfortable with, you know, the potential issues that you might have to deal with, I totally get that. No problem. A lot of people aren't aware or haven't been aware that there are so many other options out there. You don't have to just go retail, okay? People dump garbage everywhere. People don't like having to pay to take stuff to the dump. Well, they're being cheap. And stealing services by using someone else's dumpster is our benefit, our gain. But you've got to get in there and get the stuff. That's the trick. So other places, churches, we have just a plethora of churches in our area. And the bins generally are not locked. And so people that go to that church or just people in the neighborhood or whomever, they dump stuff. Okay, you probably don't want to go on the day that they're having a service. Not a good idea. Okay, because people might bother you. And it's just a pain having to answer questions and explain yourself. I hate having to do that. I can do it. I have done it, but I'd just as lief not bother with people and not have them bother me when I'm doing what I do. So, so that, you know, you'll figure those things out, and we'll talk more about the next W, which is when. Okay, we'll figure more of that out next Friday. But anyway, churches, schools, obviously, that is my bread and butter. That is my mainstay. That is where I do my absolute most dumpster diving, especially through the summer, late spring through early fall, because you've got the spring cleaning happening. Then you've got, all through the summer, you've got people dumping stuff endlessly. The leftovers from their yard sale, the apartment evictions, the house cleanouts, and then all the school stuff. Every summer, there's always somebody retiring or moving to another school, or someone died or whatever. There's always something happening at the school, remodeling, moving to a whole new building, who knows? Okay, but there's always something happening, so that there's going to be constant flow of goods into their dumpsters. Are some of them locked? Unfortunately, yes. One of the things that you can do to help yourself is be neat. Clean up after yourself. If you make a mess, things are falling out. It happens. Clean up. Don't leave a mess. Don't make a bad name for all the rest of us. It is because of situations like that that bins get locked. That and schools get tired of paying for all the junk that's being dumped in there by the neighbors, and I don't blame them. I understand. But it sucks when that happens. But that brings me to another point that I bring up all the time when I'm out and about and on my ride-alongs and whatnot, which is you need to have more than one place. You can't just say, well, I've got my kids' school, my grandkids' school, my nephew goes to school right here, so I'm going to go to that school, and that's my only place. Well, yeah, you might find a little bit, but what if they're a school that doesn't have that kind of waste volume? Then what? You have nothing, okay? Or what if they lock their bins? Oh, it's a horrible thing. Then what? You're out. You've got nothing. You need to have other options. You need to have, 5-6 schools in your one round. Now, are you going to start out with that? Maybe, maybe not. But it only takes a few minutes, especially if you map it out and plan it. Just a few minutes. You drive to the next school, you pop out, you look, pop back in your car, keep on going. Or walk. Hey, great exercise. Woohoo! If you have one of those little wheelie cart things that you see little old ladies, I am not above that. I have no shame in that department. I do not care. Pretty much at all what people think of me in my dumpster diving situation. I'm past that, and that's something we'll talk about another time. But that's something that if you take this on seriously, that you will have to also be able to get over. All right, so schools, there's just tons, guys. There's tons. It has never failed, and I've been doing this for a decade. It has never failed me that the schools are going to have stuff, whether it's from the school or the neighbors or some landlord that doesn't want to pay for a bin, whatever. There's going to be stuff. Trust me. Now, is it going to be gross sometimes? Sure. But it's a lot less gross, I promise you. It's a lot less gross in the summer than during the school year. And during the school year, there's all the lunch refuse, there's, all the nasties. You don't have nearly as much of that in the summer. Your school might have a summer, meal program or something like that. And so you will get some of that, but nothing like during the school year. Now, should you dive in the school bins during the school year? I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, maybe on a weekend, once a month, you might look and see, did people drop some stuff off? But if your winters are anything like ours, where we're just snowed in, it's pointless. It really is an exercise in futility. Just don't do it. It's not going to pay off. That's been my experience for a decade. In the winter, you've got to go to other options, find other avenues to be getting your stuff. Residential bins, okay, at least here in Utah and in many states, but check your rules, look it up. Google is your friend. Residential bins, once it's out on the curb, it's fair game. If you see something awesome sticking out, like today, I was taking my mom somewhere and I noticed a whole bunch of bubble wrap sticking out of a residential bin. Well, my mom needed some bubble wrap because she's packing some stuff. And so, of course, we stopped and grabbed it. Keep your eye out for those. Or on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, if you're, our garbage gets picked up Monday morning. So whenever yours gets picked up, the night before or early that morning, just go for a walk, go for a little drive, just see what's out there, see what's there. Once it's out on the curb, it's yours. Now, might there be, someone coming out to get their paper or, on their way to work and they're like, Sally, what are you doing in my bin? It happens. You have to, I don't know. Those are just situations that you just have to deal with. It does not happen very often, especially if you time it right, okay? And you got to be fast. Just snatch and grab and go. Get out of there. Okay. So we've got retail, if you want to deal with the potential issues. There are ways around all of them. It just takes planning, preparation, timing. We have churches, check them out, see what's what. We have schools, treasure troves. They are treasure troves. Another one, parks, public parks. They usually have bins like right out on the side of the road or in the parking lot, so that when you have your luau, all your garbage is going to go in the bin. Now, are these, you know, people say, oh, it's so gross, it's so gross. With parks, yes, it is gross. There's no candy coating it, there's no sugar coating it. I got a whole bag full of brand new Bloomingdale's clothes with tags on them. Right next to them was a bag of fish heads and bones. Yuck. Okay, and that's just, hold on, I need a drink of water, just a second. Sorry about that, I get dry mouth. Anyway, park bins are nasty. I mean, it's the nature of park bins. There's yuck and food and beer and fish and who knows what else, okay? So those are one of my, they're not a last resort. They're just more of an along the way kind of thing, or a last resort. So if I just have not been finding stuff and it's been rough and I'm like, oh, I need something, I'll hit up the parks. I have found some wonderful things at parks. It's another situation where you've got people who have their yard sale leftovers, or their landlord, they just evicted someone, or a house has been foreclosed, or whatever, and they don't want to pay for a bin, or, you know, the stuff to be hauled away. So they load it all up in their truck and they drop it at the park bins. So you never know what you're going to find. There is definitely less of a guarantee with park bins. My average is about 1 in 10. So about 1 in 10 times that I hit a park, and parks usually have 2 to 3 bins each. So about 1 in 10 times that I hit a park with about 2 or 3 bins, I will score. This last weekend I did, and it was awesome. But those are your numbers, those are your averages. Your school averages are going to be way higher, way higher. Your churches are going to be kind of mid. And your retail, that is all up in the air. That just totally depends. It depends on the store. It depends on if they even have bins. That's another where kind of thing. You can't do Walmart. You can't do Kmart. You know, there's a lot of places you can't do because they have trash compactors. It hurts to even think about the waste. I worked retail for years and years and years and years, and the stuff we threw away, oh my goodness. Oh, the food and the products, it's horrible. And it all just gets compacted and then sent off to a landfill somewhere. That hurts. That just sucks. So there's a lot of places that either have those or are going to those, or have locked bins. It's their right to waste that stuff, and damn it, they're going to waste it. And that's all there is to it, and you can't do anything about it. And that sucks. Hopefully, eventually, you know, the more of us that speak up and change people's minds, maybe we can, you know, eliminate, lessen some of that waste. But at this point, that's where we're at. I know that in a lot of places it's 100% illegal. One of my fabulous loyal viewers, hello, from Northern Ireland, told me that that it is illegal to dive in her area, and that sucks. That sucks. But there are other options that I've been thinking about for those kind of situations, but that's going to be another episode. All right. So, you're going to have to find retail places, mom and pop shops, you know, local places, you know, those small town, main street stores, boutiques, whatever. Look for those. Look for those. You know, circle around through the alley, through the back parking lot, and take a look. Take a look. See what they have. See what ones aren't locked or don't have a compactor. Your little small stores and boutiques, they're not going to have a compactor. I've never seen it. Never. Okay? So, go and look. You might get lucky. You might find one that's, you know, a honey hole and just is going to pay out for you for the next who knows how long. Another instance where you can find great things out in the bins of retail is when stores shut down, when stores close. All that stuff's got to go somewhere. the things that people didn't buy. We had a scrapbooking store here that was, a mainstay for a long time. Well, when it shut down, everything that was left that hadn't sold in the clearance ended up in the bins in the back. And so there were just groups of people going in and pulling out loads and loads of scrapbooking supplies. Expensive stuff, too, and just getting it out of the bins. So look for foreclosed properties, stores, stores shutting down, blah, blah, blah. Check out their bins. Can you hit some big stores? Yes, obviously. There's a million videos on here of people hitting Bed Bath & Beyond and GameStop and blah, 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 all these places. You can do that too. You're just going to have to figure some things out, okay? There's a lot you're going to have to figure out. There's a lot you're going to have to be willing to do or willing to risk in order to do that. I've never had any huge problems. I have had 2, and this is in a lot of years of doing this, 2 confrontations at retail establishments, and I'll save those for story time. But yeah, I have had 2 confrontations. I didn't end up in jail. I didn't even get a ticket. There were no cops. There was a threat, but no cops. So it's not gonna be often, okay, that you're gonna have to deal with stuff, at least in my experience. And a lot of it comes down to timing and attitude and cleanliness and not being a jerk. So playing ignorant, that can be helpful sometimes. All right, so those are the wheres: retail, churches, schools, parks, residentials. Be out there, be looking. One other. So I've done this a couple of times. I put out an ad on Craigslist and our local news classifieds online thing. This is one you have to, it's if you're willing to go this route. Not everyone is. But I offered to come to any foreclosed properties. It was during, when everything was being foreclosed, all these houses, horrible time, recession and all that. I offered to come and for free take away everything. And that's the catch. You have to be willing to take everything. Okay, you'll get goodies, lots of great stuff, but you'll also get other stuff that you're going to have to be responsible for. You can set limits. You can say no furniture, no appliances, whatever, if you don't want to deal with that or can't deal with that. But yeah, it's a crapshoot, and that's just an idea, just a thought that maybe you haven't thought of. If if you have no other avenues, okay, you're not going to worry about all those regulations and those rules and store managers coming out and threatening to call the cops on you and having to flip people off as you're driving away. And anyways, save that for story time. So by doing things like that, you can offer to, is that something that you should do solo? Maybe not you. That might not be for you, and I don't blame you, okay? It's a wacky world out there. There are some loonies, but it's an option, okay? It's something you can offer, a service you can offer that will get you some merchandise. Another one is just to put the word out there on, your Facebook, your whatever other bazillion different social media things. Put the word out, hey, you know what, when you got your donation piles, that stuff that's sitting in your closet, it's like a bag or a box of stuff that you keep adding to, and eventually you're going to take it and donate it to Salvation Army, Goodwill, whatever. Let people know, hey, I'll come and get it for you. I'll take it. Just set it out on the porch, and I'll come and grab it or whatever. We'll have a cup of coffee and I'll come and take your, we can have a visit and I'll take your donation stuff. Why not? Okay, you're saving people a trip. You're helping, the environment, because a lot of times what'll happen, and I think this definitely happens in the bins with stuff that I see, is that people meant well. I've even seen the word donate written on some of the boxes. They meant well. They had good intentions, but it was just too much of a hassle, which is ridiculous. There's no excuse for that, because the MS people will come and pick it up from you at no charge. But anyway, most people just don't want to deal with it. And so even though they've had this box that's been, you know, they've been adding stuff to for like 4 months, they end up taking it to the bins. I don't know why, I just know that it happens. So you offer that service to your friends and family, generally safer, although you're most likely to be killed by friends or family especially, but that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, if you're worried about strangers and, you know, knife-wielding lunatics and aren't related to any, friends and family, start with them. Just put the offer out there, say, hey, you've got junk of whatever donation stuff, I'll come and pick it up, get it out of your hair, you don't need to worry about it. It's not going to cost you anything, just there you go. Or you can say, hey, on Saturday next, I'm going to be in this town picking stuff up. And, hold on, kids. Trying to wrap this up. 20 minutes is like the max that the kids will let me be alone, which I'm sure plenty of you understand that. Anyway, say Saturday, I'm going to be out and about in this area. Get your donation stuff together. If you've got stuff you've been cleaning out, get it done Saturday. You're helping them. You're giving them a deadline to do stuff that they've been meaning to do and wanting to do anyway. And now they know someone's going to come and take it, and maybe they'll be more likely to get that stuff loaded up. Why not try? Okay? Then you don't have to worry about rules, regulations, nasty, dirty dumpsters, climbing in and people watching you and having to explain and all those things that hold a lot of people back from doing this. Physical limitations, whatever. If you've got all those issues and don't want to have to work through those, then just offer to pick up donation stuff. You don't know what you're going to get. You might get a bunch of crap, okay? Worst case scenario, you just take and donate it. Okay, no big deal. You might get all kinds of awesome stuff too that people just didn't want to bother with. It's an option, okay? So those are the wheres for today. It's all I've got time for. If you have questions about where, not when, who, why, how, any of those other things, okay? Because we will be covering those weekly until I get through the 5 W's, and then we have, you know, a couple of H's and other parts of the alphabet. So none of those other questions. Save those. Well, actually, no, go ahead. If you have questions about the other things, go ahead and put them in the comments, because then I will cover those questions. What a great idea. Boom. Ah, epiphany. I will cover them in the upcoming episodes where I cover the other W's. So, questions, concerns, comments, please don't be jerks. Go ahead and leave those in the comments below, and we will catch you all for another 5 W's dumpster diving basics video next Friday. Have a fabulous weekend. Happy picking. Please let me know what things you've been saving and salvaging and finding and giving a second chance. I will catch you all later. Bye-bye.